Hey, this is Jared White. I got Bob Marley's shirt on. I don't really have anything for today.
Bryce Lensing from Without Circumstance with my video games.
And I'm Joshua B. Easy. And
this is the Takeoff Anytime podcast.
And today we have one of my friends and previous coworkers, Brent, with us to talk about, in case you couldn't guess, video games.
Yay!
We're doing clapping now.
We really need to get like an audio.
You're the first guest to get applause. That's pretty high honor.
Well, because I started it and I have better etiquette than you motherfuckers.
No, you're the only one who get like a decent applause. Everybody else got
I feel like when you say better etiquette and motherfuckers in the same sentence, that kind of like negates the effect you're going for.
How is that?
I didn't know that saying motherfuckers, unless you're Samuel L. Jackson,
that's
is
good.
considered etiquette.
That's the only case that works.
That's pretty good.
I guess.
So, as people know, people that are into video games know, E3 was just last week, 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks.
So by the time this airs, it's a few weeks back. So lots of video game news, at least for nerds like us.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're not a nerd, if you don't like video games, if you don't like any shit like that, this is not the episode for you. So you should probably tune
but
out.
still watch it and still share it.
Yeah, why not? Like,
still share us.
subscribe, stuff like that.
One thing that I
Tell
did
your mama.
want to say before we all get started, if you have got this far in the podcast, which is only 2-3 minutes right now, okay, we need your help here to Take Off Anytime podcast. If you listen to us, please share us. We're trying to get out. We're trying to get to more people. We're trying to get to more platforms, and we're just trying to get the fuck out there. We're trying to actually take off. Hence the name of the podcast.
At any time.
Right. So please, if you hear us and you hear this message, our cry, our plead, share us. Okay?
And you could save our podcast for 10 cents a day.
No, but in all seriousness, I mean, Brent was gracious enough to reach out to us on one of the episodes that we recently shared and asked you about being on the podcast, and that can be you. You can be the next one.
Yes.
You could be sitting in one of these chairs.
And then we buy you pizza, like we bought Brent pizza.
Yes. So we feed our guests, most of them.
We do.
I was well taken care of.
He was.
All of our previous guests who haven't got fed are going to send us messages. I didn't get no food.
You got a hug. That works.
Next time, we'll buy you food.
Yeah, next time we'll buy you food.
Because I'm sure that'll be Portia who said some shit like that.
We're always calling out Porsche. I almost feel bad.
Well, I'm not
Almost
saying anything bad about her. Like Jared.
No, I ain't say shit. For once, I have not said anything about Porsche.
So, anyways, does anybody want to start off with anything about video games? I know I got multiple things I can talk about.
I guess, man, we could just talk about first, what was our impressions on E3 this year? The things you saw, things that you like.
That's good. Just to kind of give it an overview, because I could probably go into each one of these things more in topic. I would say it was a moderately good year to a good year. Mm-hmm. It definitely wasn't a bad year. One little thing, and maybe I'll expand on this later, is anytime that I have no faith in Square Enix.
Okay.
How long it took them to release Final Fantasy 15 and how long it's taken them to do Kingdom Hearts 3, I've just lost faith in them.
Yeah.
And so anytime I see something from there, I just automatically zone out.
I think the last release that they actually had, which was the 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, I haven't played a majority of it yet. I haven't actually gone to the the Aqua section that was like 0.2. I'm already experiencing franchise fatigue, and I've only played, I think, like the main installments. I didn't get into like any of the sub chapters, like 3.8 over 2 days.
By the way, I like the franchise fatigue phrase because I want to come back to that later.
Yeah,
with some other franchises.
there's a couple of them that we can list.
Yeah, definitely.
But Josh, what about your take on E3?
Well, I didn't watch the whole thing of it. I only seen parts of it. So the things that I did see, I liked. Mm-hmm. I was more disappointed of some of the games that I really expected or I really wanted to see. Mm-hmm. I didn't see any play like that, like Mortal Kombat for once.
Yeah, that was a little weird not having anything from NetherRealm Studios.
Yeah.
What about last year or the year before? Didn't they announce that Square Enix was doing some like Avengers game?
Avengers game?
Yeah, but
yeah,
I
it was
don't-
like a teaser trailer. That was like it didn't even show anything other than like the close-ups of like the different like characters like Iron Man, Thor's hammer, what have you.
Huh.
That's all that came of that.
That seems vaguely familiar, actually.
yeah.
now that
No,
you
I don't
mention
think it was. I don't think it was E3, but I remember it being around that time frame.
I feel like Square Enix is going to be a whole topic in a few minutes.
yeah. No, it's probably going
In
to
and of
divulge into
themselves.
that.
But I don't know because I heard that
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
the Avengers franchise has been bouncing from from maker to maker or company to company. Because even Rockstar at one point, I believe, was like supposed to bring out an Avengers game.
Well, they've been
What the fuck
pushing
would
their
Rockstar
mobile.
do with a fighting game?
The same thing they did with they brought out they made Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's more of a storyline. When you think of Avengers, or at least when I think of any kind of
You think like a fighting game?
most superhero games
Yeah.
besides Batman.
Kind of like Injustice. I mean, not to reference Batman, but
Well, yeah, that's what I'm getting to. I'll figure some fighting game like that.
yeah.
Yeah, but think of what Batman when that whole series came out. That changed like the landscape for everyone.
Are we
Like,
talking about Arkham or something else?
we're talking about Arkham, the Arkham
Yeah.
series.
Okay.
Well,
That's what I was
all the
thinking.
Batmans are kind of the same.
It's really the
platform.
only one that matters at this point because there's been such a mixed bag. They did like
Yeah.
beat 'em ups back on the 16-bit.
Yeah, and that's when everything was just side scroll. you
Yeah,
know? I mean,
yeah.
the furthest from that was probably the N64
Yeah.
Batman that they had. But even that was very linear.
It's very whack to me too.
Yeah, but I mean, think about because even Shadows of Mordor adopted the whole combat system from from the Arkham series.
Oh
You
man, that
even
combat system has been duplicated so many times.
Well, even the
I mean, because
even
it works.
Even the new Spider-Man that's coming out from
From Platinum.
yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Or not Platinum.
You're talking about the one this year, though.
Naughty Dog.
No. It's coming. Oh, you're talking about the older one.
No. No, never. Was it Neversoft that did the Spider-Man games back in the NES?
Oh,
and,
yeah, like Spider-Man 2.
yeah,
Great game, by the way.
yeah.
Oh, you're talking about no. You're talking about the Activision ones.
Yeah, I'm sorry. the
Oh,
Activision.
Yeah. You're talking about
Activision,
the Activision ones.
Yeah.
Was it Naughty Dog?
Well, then,
Naughty Dog did Spider.
Well, no, Naughty Dog is doing the new one for the PS4 that's coming out this
No,
September.
that's Platinum.
Is it really?
Yep, that's
Yeah,
Platinum.
like I
Oh
don't,
shit.
Because Platinum's the same one we made. I think it was just an underrated game, Sunset Overdrive.
Oh yeah. No, I have a couple friends that played that. They're like, why didn't they spin this off into its own series?
It definitely
You know?
should. It was a dope game.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot.
never played it.
I just thought the name of the studio it was Insomniac that's doing
Oh yeah, Sonic, get everybody.
Yeah.
Man,
No.
we're all over the
the
place.
Ratchet and Clank guys.
Yeah, we're all over the place. Sorry, God, man, there's so many companies.
Yeah, too many.
There's so many companies, man. Yeah, but Insomniac is doing that. But yeah,
You
but
guys are better with the company names than I am, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, I know
I'm
a few, but...
I'm a fan.
yeah. I actually look at that because like one of my biggest companies, and even though they gotten so much flack over the years, is Ubisoft. That's pretty much like my
Yeah.
go-to company, especially right now, because they have one of my. Well, as you and I,
You're
both know.
teasing me.
Yeah,
I want to get to
I know where you
Ubisoft.
want to go, so I'm
But-
gonna back off. But yeah, we had one of our favorite series in there.
Yeah.
So and I've always been attached to them. Like even the Watchdog games were cool with me.
Oh, yeah.
The fun one, the first one was kind of so, but I know the second one got a little better. After they learned a little bit.
What? Oh, we're going to have to come back to that, too. Shit.
Yeah, that's
Because I disagree with that. But,
Oh, okay.
but anyways, what about general thoughts on E E3?
So my general thoughts on E3, and it's really hard for me to cover everything because when I watch stuff like E3, I look for certain games that I want to see. Especially like a lot of sequels. Of course the Assassin's Creed, Gears of War, stuff like that, like stuff I've been into, and like the Division. I'm really big on the Division.
Which I might pick up this.
Is that Ubisoft?
That's
Yeah.
Ubisoft.
It's Ubisoft,
And
yeah.
another game from Ubisoft, and I'm like, oh, hey, Ubisoft, you want to throw me some stuff? I'm down. But another game.
Product
I really
placement.
love- I know, right? I'm just gonna put like a Ubisoft tag here. But For Honor is one I was really anticipating hearing about because when it first launched a couple years ago, I was really like on it. Like I was one of the first ones. I ordered like the little night pen and stuff like that. Like, I was really about it. But then like the servers were so bad and people kept falling out because the player base got so small. But then they made all these improvements and all this stuff. And now lately it's like it's hard for me to not play the game, even though I'm just playing Dominion most of the times in the game, which is a 4x4, like capture the base type of situation. It just doesn't get boring to me. And like with the new with the new add-on of the siege mode, or I think what it is, like when you have to castle a castle, or take over a castle, capture a castle. There we go. I don't know. I hope more people get into it because I think it's a great game. But I think so. I guess to answer your question, when I look at E3, I'm looking for. But there have been surprises that I've seen, and I was like, man, I might get into it. Like Cyberpunk 2077.
Yep.
It's something I really want to check
CD,
out as well.
CD Projekt, the guys that did Witcher 3.
Yep.
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 It's funny. I got that game because I bought it from somebody for like $20, and like I never even put it in my PlayStation.
No.
Seconded.
You kind of do that a lot, though.
Yeah, I got at least 3 or 4 games that are just sitting in my cabinet that I haven't even played yet.
But
Yeah.
you work a lot, dude. So it's not to his discredit. He's making that money. But,
Yep.
I mean, he does.
Yeah, that's
that.
fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
But Brent, I know you mentioned a little bit, but anything overall?
Ubisoft, the Assassin's Creed series in general, I think when it comes to the annual releases, it gets tiring. I think it kind of follows what I was starting out with Kingdom Hearts with the franchise fatigue thing. I buy those games, I think a couple months after they come out, and they always go down in price rather quickly. Not to bargain bin prices, but I mean like $30-$40 like right after the holidays. They almost always hit the same time every year. I just don't. I don't follow the storyline as closely as I used to. I got into, I think the second one. I skipped 3 for some reason, and then I got onto Black Flag, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
Another game that
I think at that point though, I just looked at the series like I don't see where else they could actually go other than just like changing the theme, the background every once in a while.
And I really like that you brought up the franchise fatigue, and I'm going to kind of use that as a segue. Because obviously I'm a big Assassin's Creed nerd. I have the Assassin's Creed tattoo on my ring finger. And then I got the Assassin's Creed blanket, and I got a whole bunch of Assassin's Creed just outside of camera view here.
Even the PlayStation is right behind.
Exactly.
Bryce.
Yeah, it
You
has
can't
that
see it.
Assassin's
It's
Creed logo.
there.
But,
Or the tablecloth underneath all the games.
Yep.
Exactly.
But the big thing with that is I didn't know whether or not they were going to actually announce a game this year.
Yeah.
Because they didn't the year in between Origins and Syndicate.
Yep.
But that was also the year they had a movie. So even though they didn't have a
so
game,
there was still something there.
there was still something
there.
The only year that there has not been an Assassin's Creed game was, I think, the year or maybe 2 years between the first one and the second one.
Yep,
Other
because
than
they were at that point, I think, reassessing what the storyline was going to be because it was.
Well, they revamped it pretty good.
The first one is very vague in some regards of.
Well, that was
like
one
its
of
own
the first
mythology.
PS3 games.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was.
That was a launch title,
And it was
think,
good for
all
what
of
it
them.
was. It was good for what it was. But
Yep.
but they took some leaps, and it paid off for them with Assassin's Creed 2. Story-wise, it's still one of the best ones in the series. But I will say, because I do play all the games, and I play them for the story, and that's why I love it. Going back to the franchise fatigue, is it does, after a while, feel like with the story, like they're dragging it out on purpose.
Yeah.
Because there's a modern day story component to it as well.
Do they-
And it feels like, with Assassin's Creed 3, it's like, oh, they're going to wrap it up.
And then
Because
they-
usually trilogies wrap it
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
And then it's like, oh, now we're continuing with these other characters, and it just goes on forever.
And spoiler warning if anybody's not finished 3, because I think it
haven't.
wasn't that the one where they killed like the real world component?
Yes.
Desmond.
Yep.
Yeah.
Spoiler,
Yeah.
but they did kill Desmond. And in I'm going to go off a little specific here for just a quick second. Assassin's Creed, one of the Assassin's Creed, they talk about the Shroud of Eden because there's pieces of Edens that are magical things. And they mentioned the Shroud of Eden being used to resurrect Jesus Christ. That's why he was able to be resurrected on Easter Sunday, which that's one of the reasons I love the game series is they take real history and they, put these components into it. And I thought, oh, they're going to use the Shroud to bring back Desmond. And then they just went a completely different direction. I'm like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I think that was at the point where they're like, okay, how can we actually get what we can out of the series, and how long can we actually tell this story for? Like before we started, I said, they kept on saying in all their interviews, at least with whoever the director is at that time, they say that there's like a definite end game that they actually have planned right now,
yeah.
but they just don't have, a time frame of when that actually is going to happen. Almost like Kingdom Hearts,
Yeah.
how long it took them to actually get to part 3 was,
Well,
what was it, back
10
in
years?
2020,
There
2003?
There was
Yeah,
no
part 2 came out?
major PS3 release for Kingdom Hearts. There was
Right.
none.
Yeah.
And one thing about Kingdom Hearts is there's certain games that are important to the story, like the non-main series, and then there's some that aren't. Like Birth by Sleep for the
Yeah,
PSP,
absolutely vital.
that one was worthwhile to the story.
Absolutely.
But then
vital.
382 or whatever by 2 days, that one you didn't need to play.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that when they did the compilation a couple of years ago that they just put those two like cutscenes and they just added on to them a little bit just to kind of like fill in the gaps, give maybe a little bit more subtext to like what was the name of the character that
Roxas?
followed. No. The one that followed him around 348 over 2 days. I keep on butchering the title every time I say it too.
It's a whole bunch of numbers divided by 2. I don't know.
Yeah. Just it's Kingdom Hearts, a bunch of numbers, days. Okay, that's where that's at. But even Recoded and what was the one that they did for? What was the one for the
3DS?
No, the 2.8 over or the 2.8 final chapter prologue, which was the mobile game. I think they just synchronistically just put it into like a cutscene or like an hour and a half long movie. It was way before the events of Birth by Sleep. It was like the Keyblade Wars that they, that they always kind of hinted at, that they played around with, and they kind of made them look like, different animals. Like one would be a fox, one would be a bear, and they never gave them any context to, who they were. They alluded to Ansem. The
Thank you. I
lies
could not think of his name.
Yeah. I just remember him as Billy Zane in the first game.
that whole series is pretty pretty confusing.
It's a head trip compared to what I actually expected it to be after the first game. I think the second game kind of tweaked me a little bit because I'm like, I didn't expect it to be as complicated as it was.
Well, and I feel like that's what they did with the non-main series is they tried to like explain everything, but they just like made it more confusing because there was no consistent timeline. Because they went back and they did a game about Roxas when Roxas was part of the group with a whole bunch of other guys, and I think it was to make it clearer, but it didn't make it clear.
Well, and then they changed him into Venice in the Birth by Sleep series. So I'm like, okay, is this the same character? Is this? It turned out to be like his vessel or something.
Yeah, right.
At the end of it, or in one of the other side stories, they just kind of like throw it up on the wall. It's like, oh yeah, if you ever wondered what this was, that's what it was.
See, I think that's the problem with almost any video game, though, and that's why I'm a little afraid of going into because I seen Kingdom Hearts 3, and now it's because I'm a big Xbox guy.
Yeah,
that's pretty much been my thing since the war started between Microsoft and Sony. You know what I mean? I was a big Little Brothers fan, or Big Brother fan, I could say. So my brother had an Xbox, I was like Xbox, but. It's always been something I've always wanted to play. Now, I haven't really played the Kingdom Hearts, but I've always watched it on YouTube, watched the whole lore. And I think it's intriguing. And now when the third one is coming out, I'm like, oh, I really want to get it. But it's one of those things like, along with that series and Assassin's Creed, it's kind of hard to just jump into it. You know, Assassin's Creed at this point is a little different because now they're like kind of retelling the story. So you don't really need to know the other games.
Yeah, I think that's what they said was the high point of what they were going to, put into the extras and everything, just so because they're doing this multi-platform for like the first time for some reason they're doing like
and that
part 3 is like, okay, we're gonna put it on an Xbox, and we're not gonna even give you the compilations from like the PS4.
Yeah, and that's
what it seems weird.
No, we're talking about Kingdom Hearts again now.
Oh, they're putting it out for all platforms.
Well,
just,
no, he's
just
saying
part 3.
Yeah, see, and that's what he was saying because they need to release, like, if they ever were to put God of War on Xbox, they should release the first ones.
Oh, like they did with Devil May Cry.
Exactly, like they did with Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
Because remember that was originally just PS, a PS exclusive.
And talk about Capcom walking it back from the DMC reboot that they did a couple of years ago. Now they're just pretending like that doesn't even
I'm
exist.
kind of upset about that.
I am a little bit too. I kind of liked
I missed
it.
something. What's going on?
I didn't like Dante as much because I think they were just trying to play him as too much of an edgelord.
Yeah, too much like a cocky.
Wait,
Yeah.
so what's going on with Devil May Cry?
He's always been that way though.
So you remember when it came out? Well, yes, but
to
like
a certain extent.
Yeah,
I mean, like they exaggerated it more in like the main series, and then when they handed it off to Ninja Theory, a couple of years ago when they did the DMC reboot, they seemed to take it way more seriously than it really needed to. I mean, like the gameplay was still there, it was still fun.
Yeah, it was fun,
but I think it kind of snubbed a lot of people that were really hoping that they were actually going to continue with the main series with what's his face, Nero.
Yeah, because you know, and that's the thing. I was really hoping Nero was going to show up. I enjoyed Nero. You know, even with the whole arm thing threw me for a loop. I was like, okay, this is cool though.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
Nero is Dante's brother.
No, Nero
no.
is just some guy that just so happens to look like him.
Yeah,
from what I
like-
remember.
Like have like the same gene. I
Yeah,
forget how it
that was
ended.
Devil May Cry 4.
Part four was a little strange for me.
Yeah, it kind of caught me off guard. But I think the reason why they're going back to the original series and kind of like going back into it because one, Ninja Theory got bought by Microsoft. You know, and so Microsoft is probably looking at the whole thing like, okay, this is where your core base is. Let's go back to that because that's what they want.
Somebody's got to catch me up. What's going on with Devil May Cry?
So you remember when?
Are they doing
Dante has a beard now.
Yeah, he has a beard.
Oh, so they're bringing him back?
Yeah, so you
They
see,
bring like the old Dante. Yeah.
Yep.
Why didn't they just redo it with him being young, like showing more of his younger ways before?
It wasn't
the
even
original?
it wasn't even a part of like the official storyline that they had already established because part 1 and 2 were like older Dante. Then they decided Devil May Cry 2 was a little too outlandish and out there because it changed too many mechanics. So they went back into like an origin story for part 3. It was called Dante's Awakening, and then part 4 completely. I think they just put him as like an anti-hero or a side antagonist for part 4.
He
from what I
was.
remember.
I
Yeah,
thought so.
like you
Okay.
played with him like for a little bit, but that like he wasn't the main. Like, Nero was the main.
yeah. Outside of the arm thing, I think Nero played a lot like Dante.
Okay.
So
You know what game I would love to see rebooted? I don't know if anybody's even knows one. Onimusha.
yeah,
I would love to see that rebooted.
yeah. I think
I never played it.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, the third one with John Reno was actually really good.
So,
And then
I got another one.
yeah,
what's that?
Bloody Roar.
Man, I've been saying that for years. If they if they brought Bloody Roar back,
Yeah.
I would be the first person in line.
yeah,
Yo, and trust me, I used to hate that game. I loved it for the components. I hate it because my cousin Marcus beat my tail every time. Like every time, I like Marcus, put the controller down. You just don't play this round.
yeah.
You know?
It was one of those fighting games that I really liked on the side of like everything else. I mean, mechanics be damned. It was fun.
It was.
You know, that's all it really really needed to be for me.
Yeah, and that's exactly because that's the same way I feel about Dead or Alive. Like, cause Dead or Alive is it can be technical.
Yeah,
You know
was
what I'm
kind of lame to me.
Oh, you crazy? Huh?
But
crazy.
like I don't know why, and this may be a sexist thing, but it had a lot of fucking girls in it.
Did you see the trailer for the new one yet?
Oh, yeah,
they completely negated like most of the TNA action. Like they're like Hayabusa, Zach, and a couple of the guy characters. I don't know if what's a little blonde guy's name in that game? The guy that wears the blue. Leon or.
Crap. All I can think about is Zach right now.
Yeah, no, but anyways, they put out a teaser trailer for it, which I didn't really expect from Tecmo because they seem to be riding like the DLC bandwagon with Last Round from Dead or Alive 5. Like they've been, I think their season passes, which they call them season passes, are basically just costume sets, and they've been doing it for almost 4 years now. So
I didn't like that they did that though, to be honest with you, because it came out. Because one, before I had, when I had the Xbox 360, I bought the whole Dead or Alive 4. I bought the whole collector's edition. Even listened to the CD that came with it.
Yep.
And then it was like when it came on Xbox One, like I wanted to get the game again because I enjoyed the series, but it's like I'm not gonna buy everything again. It's crazy, you know what I'm saying? But I think the reason, you see, and I know we're going to talk about something later with a more political aspect of E3, so I kind of want to save it. But I think I have a reason for why they toned down the whole TNA situation.
Oh,
Well, it's the same reason they didn't bring the volleyball game, the third one, over here in the States, because they just don't want to play, with anybody, with that kind of subject matter.
Yeah, I gotcha. Oh, yeah, cultural differences. Yeah.
I'm not really hip to the whole TNA thing, so can you guys explain that to the ones who don't know?
Well, okay, I'll go into a little bit, but I really want to talk about it for the next time we do, like, get a little more to the political side of it. But, because they're usually like, the women have a lot of like clothing, like, bras, panties hanging out and stuff like that. And a lot of people play the games because they like to see.
Right, that's what made it good.
So he's just talking about the sexual aspects of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they toned it down.
Yeah.
Well, they did that with a lot of games, though. Like they did that with Street Fighter when it first came out.
Yep.
They patched it so and they changed the camera angles so like
Dude,
it doesn't show.
I
a lot
remember
of parts.
they had a tennis game where like the cover was just the girl's like chest down and she's wearing like the short tennis shorts.
Oh, good.
That shit would make
I remember
makes
that
it
game.
fun.
It's one.
Yep.
It's one of those. It's just one of those sex cells.
It was
yeah.
out. It was outlaw tennis.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
But
Well, yeah, I don't want to get too far in it because I want to
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, we'll save that for next
Let's
time.
keep this a lighthearted.
Yeah,
one.
don't ask
So,
me why I know that game either.
So one thing, like one thing though, like I hate to jump around so much, but like, and forgive me if I cut one of you guys off, is with Square Enix specifically, kind of going back to them for a second, like I mentioned it for a quick second earlier, Final Fantasy VII. How many years ago at E3 was it that they announced that they were finally remaking Final Fantasy VII? Like 3 years?
I think it's
2.
It was 2, wasn't
Two.
it?
When is it even coming out?
It's
That's
not gonna be for a while.
Yeah.
As far as I know, there was no divulged information at this year's E3 because I think it was last fall that they said they fired the third-party developer that they hired to actually do the remake, which was CyberConnect, the guy that's
Really?
do like the anime Naruto games and
I didn't
everything.
know that.
Yeah, they apparently it was just like a quality control, damage control kind of situation where they.
Now, because you mentioned Naruto, is anybody hyped for the Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, and One Piece?
Oh, you mean that
game?
yeah, that crossover thing they're
Dude,
doing?
Yeah.
Is it a game?
See now,
James
what I want to know is it just going to be them 3 characters and they bring those 3 worlds together,
Yeah.
or they're going to make like a? Do you guys know the game Mugen?
Yeah.
You know when they had everybody from all like the fight,
Yeah,
all the.
it's very fan driven. But my question is it going to be like an arena fighter? Is it going to be like a 2-dimensional like fighting game? Because it just
It seems arena like.
okay.
But if they brought in and made it like Mugen,
Oh,
where they
yeah.
had everybody on there, like
Oh, yeah.
everybody from the whole anime world, that shit will be
That'd be
dope
huge.
as fuck.
Well,
That almost reminds me of that series that they did for 3DS that was Project X Zone, where they had like Sega, they had Tecmo.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and a couple
It sounds
others,
like an
but it was like an
anim-
RPG.
Or like a Smash Brothers kind of.
Yeah,
That's
anime.
exactly what I was gonna say. It's
Yeah.
like an anime or Super Smash Bros.
Yeah.
like we all know, no one should try to remake Smash Brothers because they already tried it with a few platforms. PlayStation tried it; it was all right.
Yeah, wasn't it something Battle Royale or something?
It was like All Stars something,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but
Oh,
no,
okay.
let's just not. Let's just leave it the way. Even Shrek had one. Let's just cut it out.
The fuck?
Let's just stop trying to do it. It's just not a thing. Just let Nintendo have it.
No,
all right?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. PlayStation doesn't or even Xbox doesn't have the array of characters like
Yeah.
Nintendo has.
Not exclusive. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is they try to do the same type of style of video game. You know what I'm saying? Like bringing in different characters. Like I mean, it wasn't like Master Chief was facing. God, I'm trying to think of another Microsoft. It wasn't facing like Marcus Phoenix
Or
you know what I'm
Blinks the
saying?
Cat.
Yeah.
But I mean, but no, I mean that's Josh's point though. Is Nintendo, you got all these Nintendo exclusive characters.
Yeah.
Xbox and PlayStation, there's only a few that are exclusive.
Well, that's not true. PlayStation has a lot of them.
Not compared to Nintendo though.
Yeah.
Nintendo has like a shit ton.
Yeah, but even Nintendo now are bringing over characters from other platforms, like like Street Fighter, or they brought Snake over from Metal Gear.
Yep.
They brought Cloud
Oh,
over.
shit.
Well,
Yeah.
You know,
Granted, there was a Metal Gear for Metal Gear started on Nintendo, and then they had
Yeah.
Right, I was gonna say that.
GameCube. They had
You know,
the Twin Snakes.
And to me, does anybody like what's annoying to me about the new Smash Brothers? They have a lot of fucking Pokemon in it.
Yeah. No,
Dude, but look at
I thought that was stupid.
I mean, I get it though with the popularity of Pokemon Go and shit. I mean, that's
Yeah.
like Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu.
But
Yep.
but that's like a good fourth of the characters are Pokemon.
What about
Yeah, I mean,
majority of like the sword wielders being like all Fire Emblem at this point?
Yeah, that's
there's
true.
Corrin.
Oh.
There's Corrin. I'm gonna butcher all the names, but anyways, just that was my main complaint from the last game. Was like there was a lot of franchises that weren't equally represented. That they seemed to go more for like stuff that would be alluring to like hardcore.
no, I'm alright.
I just had I was just having a funny thought because of something that we had said there that I never thought about. Is like for a long time Nintendo was the only real video game console. When
Right.
you're talking Nintendo and Super Nintendo, and I never thought about that. Like all of these things that we think of being like, you think of Metal Gear Solid as being PlayStation exclusive, even though they've crossed over a couple times.
Right.
Final Fantasy,
Because majority of the Metal Gear games were good on PlayStation.
Well, yeah. Well, no. But what I'm getting to is like with Final Fantasy and Metal Gear, and I bet you guys could add to these examples. I can't think of any right now, though. They started off on Nintendo, and then they came over to PlayStation. But I mean, that's just there's more options now.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta remember at one point, Nintendo and Sony was in the works of building a console together.
Really?
So yeah,
Yep.
like way back in the day. Before,
know that.
But it didn't work out, and that's why PlayStation went on their own. Well, Sony went on their own and created a PlayStation.
I gotcha.
And that's when the N64 was like a Nintendo thing, because they kind of branched off from each other.
Yeah.
Right, and then Xbox popped into the scene.
Personally, I like that they're actually like a lot of these games are being cross-platformed. Like there was a game that I wish that the Xbox crowd would actually get a chance to play was Nier Automata.
Okay.
Yeah,
It was from Square
yes,
Enix.
Yes,
They finally did
Street Fighter.
Xbox One version that's coming out this fall. I mean, it's not a game for everybody. It's a very, if you appreciate like the PS2 era as much as I do, that game is very much on the vein of like what came out of that era. Very experimental, very abstract characters. I can't really divulge into it because it has a lot of references or a lot of inspiration, I should say, from like movies. Like it's primarily almost like a Japanese version of like Blade Runner. At least to me too. I mean, like just skimming the surface of the game
gotcha.
itself.
it does look dope.
Yeah, it is. It was a really good game though. As many hours as I put into it, it didn't feel like I did.
You know. Oh, sorry.
What? Okay. Besides Street Fighter, I think Street Fighter is the only one that I can think of that was cross-platformed. What other games are cross-platformed?
Right now, that's coming out.
Or I mean, are there any other ones right now like that are already out?
Are we talking about in general or?
Yeah, like I mean, what is it like? You talking about like fighting games, or what exactly are you talking about?
I'm talking about games that you can play online with PlayStation, Xbox, or
Oh, you're talking about online playing specifically.
Yeah, the
Okay.
cross playability between the consoles.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought that's what you guys were talking about. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
No, we're just talking about games that,
That
are
would be
released on multiple platforms.
That would be a good lead-in though, because I do like that aspect, especially when it comes to Rocket League or even like Fortnite. Just had a passing.
Before we jump into that, because
Yeah.
that's something I've always thought about, but I don't know very much about. The game, I just want to say this: the game that I wish was cross-platform more than any other game, is Zelda.
Well, okay.
And the reason why is because because Nintendo consoles, to me, Nintendo's audience is more of a family-friendly audience. That's why you don't see God of War on Nintendo. That's why you don't see Metal Gear Solid generally on Nintendo and shit. And to me, Zelda, it still is family-friendly, but that's got a lot of adult fans.
Yeah,
a lot.
It definitely does.
And for me to, I'm going to be buying a console this year for two reasons: a Nintendo console, Zelda, and Let's Go Eevee.
Well, can I say the whole
Pokemon.
the whole Zelda having the adult fans? I think because Zelda's been out literally since we were kids. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably one of the oldest genres there are amongst all a lot of the games.
Oh yeah, but I think Zelda also has a more serious tone than like Mario.
I mean, it can vary between games. I mean, like they did Toon Link for Wind Waker, and then they did Twilight Princess right afterwards, which was a response to the people that were like up in arms about just the visual aesthetic of it.
Well, and the funny thing, Twilight Princess is considered a direct sequel to Ocarina of Time.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh shit!
Does anybody else feel that
Majora's Mask.
that out of the three major gaming systems, okay, you can maybe even say four if you want to count in PC, whatever. But
No, you shit on the PC race.
no, I'm not. I'm not shitting on it, but I'm saying that Nintendo, Microsoft, and PlayStation are probably bigger than PC. Arguably. Well, okay, whatever.
Okay.
PC,
that's,
Okay, but go ahead. What you were saying?
But I was want to say that to me, it really does seem like the Nintendo is the funner console than PlayStation and Microsoft.
I mean, I guess that really depends on your definition of fun, because I would say family fun. Yes, it's probably
Yeah,
Well,
I think they have more
well,
multiplayer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I was like getting towards like
Okay.
more of we all can sit down like in the same room and like have fun playing, Nintendo
Mario
than,
Party, Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
more universal kind of just play friendly type of games.
I but the way Bryce just did it and everything, when you are able to actually list off the franchises on your hand, just to say, what they're, that's what that what you're going to get with Nintendo.
Yeah.
The only curveball that I've actually seen them do was when they actually picked up Platinum to do Bayonetta exclusively on their system.
I was pissed off about that.
Bizarre.
I was too. Though.
I was really mad because
really
Bayonetta 1 was
Oh, yeah.
dope.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
That was
so
that
good.
was a definite weird. It was a typical Nintendo move, but I mean, every console cycle now, at least with them, it seems like they just reinvent the same thing. This time around with the Switch, though, they're of course doing like ports of like the Wii U games,
Well,
like Mario
and
Kart 8.
the thing with the Switch, Pokemon is a perfect example for the Switch. The Switch was a great way for them to consolidate a console and a handheld.
Oh
Yeah, that was smart.
yeah,
and,
that was,
and that's why they said, "Hey, we're not doing Pokemon games on the handheld
because
anymore. We're
of
just going to
anything,
Switch."
the last 3 consoles that they've done, the handhelds are like outselling the consoles like 10 to 1.
Really?
You know? Yeah.
I guess I'm not surprised by that though, with a 3DS especially.
Yeah, because I mean, think about how much people love their mobile games. They love to just be able to just take it with them. And I
Yeah.
thought that was a smart idea because now, like you said, you just pick it up. Like the commercial, I remember last year when it first came out, the whole Switch A3, and the person they just picked it up off the dock, and I was like, oh snap,
Yeah.
that's sick.
Yeah.
You know,
That
Speaking
was-
of,
yeah,
And
that
it's like
was
its
great.
own big ass screen and shit.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of, so what? When the I always think of like generations. So the PS2 and the Xbox and the GameCube existed at the same time, and then I thought of like the PS3, Xbox 360,
Yeah.
and the Wii coming out together, and then the Wii Wii U came out, and nothing came out from Sony or Microsoft.
It was
And
a
so-
half-assed idea.
So when
on
the
Nintendo's part.
When the Wii U came out, I felt like it was not a major release. For it was years before I understood that it was actually a console. For years, I thought it was just an add-on to the Wii.
Because it wasn't nothing special, like really.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point, though.
But it-
Is it was kind? I feel like it was a misstep.
But isn't Nintendo coming out with a new console? Like,
No.
well, there wasn't. I know there wasn't nothing at
the
E3,
Switch.
but word was from magazines and stuff like that Nintendo's next console, which was supposed to be the Switch, was going to be something that was more powerful than the PlayStation and the Xbox.
Oh,
You know, and
I know about the story.
you know, and it didn't.
There was because they had like a sect of people that really appreciated like the Wii Fitness. It was supposed to be a life enhancement, like I don't know if you guys remember on the original Wii that there was a vitality sensor that they like teased in like one of their showcases. That was like a thing, you know, those things that they clip on your
Pulse ox. Right?
Yeah.
Yes, pulse ox.
Yeah.
So that was supposed to be a thing, and they said, "Well, we don't know what we're really doing with it," and they shelved it. They never talked about it afterwards.
That'd be an interesting way for them to market to adults.
Yeah. No, I agree, because there was a sect of people like when the Wii came out that were really on board with like the, you know, quote unquote physical fitness aspect of it,
Yeah.
when there really wasn't that much
What-
other than waving your arms.
What do you mean by two adults?
Just because if you're advertising physical fitness, you're advertising to adults. You're not generally advertising to kids.
Advertising to adults.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like two adults.
Yeah, so
I love how you always-
Nintendo's coming out with this sexual
Yes.
console where you and your partner.
Yeah, you were
well,
Vito.
I wasn't thinking about non-sexual. I thought you just meant like two adults.
Yeah, but you know I'm going to take it that way.
Yeah, do not play this game with your child.
But man, moving into a sexual realm because Bryce
No,
brought it up.
we are not doing that.
Sex
But-
box.
But when they actually
Okay,
to
what's
me,
up?
the next, this might be a better for the political kind of episode, but when they really get this VR shit right, that's gonna
Oh,
be the
man.
next wave.
Oh, yeah.
Like huge.
That could be a big
They're-
conversation.
Especially in Japan.
There,
Let's
yeah,
take- let's-
I was
man.
gonna say there's a lot of videos like
Let's table that. 'cause-
no. They're not those kind of videos. I'm talking like demonstrations. Like even the Dead or Alive Extreme 3 had like a VR component to it.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, 'cause remember they were trying to do the old Dragon Ball Z thing, and they had like
Oh, yeah.
people wearing these sensors.
Oh.
and it was like throwing
Really?
you know,
That's
Maya
gonna-
Maya ways out there.
Day one
When-
day one purchase for me.
When they
Yeah,
give us
right.
like bodysuits or like, you know, like the gloves or the hands or some shit, they can track our movement.
Oh, like
that's
Red-
gonna be the shit.
Well,
'cause,
like Ready Player One.
Oh,
I know I haven't seen that
yes.
yet, but that's what I was thinking. And then they had a video game a few years ago, or movie called a Gamer, which
Yes.
is like
Yeah.
the same thing. Like you
Yeah.
were like in this room, and it's like hell's yes.
That's
Charles.
probably
The Assassin's
next
Creed
wave.
movie kind of did that with their Animus. in
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
Where like it was this big room and you were hooked up to it, so you were actually moving around.
Yeah, but who got that much space in their house though, Bryce?
I mean, well, all they really need to do is like
Refit my basement.
all they really
That's
need
the whole
to do
house.
is like give us a system, right, and give us some sort of gloves or like knee pads or some shit so they can track our hands, and maybe like give us like cameras that can go like in the corners of.
They do that right now. HTC Vibe. Yeah. Well, it's the most expensive one on the market right now. The PlayStation is like the most lowest tier because it's using the old Move controllers.
Yeah.
But the HTC Vine, I mean, other than the controller being kind of like bulky because it's just like a little like flight stick that kind of like floats in your hand. that's the most thorough, but I mean, like nobody takes advantage of it because there's only so many people that actually are able to purchase it, to utilize it, vice versa. So I mean, like it's going to take a while for.
I've never even heard of that before.
I know.
That's,
I keep my finger on the pulse of this stuff. I don't know why, but
one thing I've always said that Microsoft should have did that, especially with the Kinect system. Because me, for one, I'm a type of person. I enjoyed the Kinect. I enjoyed the first one that came on 360. I enjoyed the second one that came on the Xbox One, even though they were kind of buggy in the game. Catalog was very small.
Mm-hmm.
I literally forgot about that until you guys brought that up.
what, the Kinect?
Yep.
evil.
Yeah, because I enjoyed it because it let you involve so many people. It became more just like a family concept. Like I got to play with my niece and nephew. I got to dance around. I got to throw like fireballs and stuff. And it was fun to get up and jump around. Like I even see my oldest brother dance at one point, and I was like, "What are you doing?" But but it was like one of those fun things.
He's watching this like, fuck you, Jarrett.
Yeah, I know, right? But I mean, he could dance, but still, it shocked me. But it's one of those things like if they would incorporate the hand gloves and stuff like that and the sensors that actually really tracks you, I think it would have been big.
It's getting there.
One thing
it's definitely
that I'm actually kind of surprised about that we haven't seen anything from Microsoft or Nintendo is how PlayStation came out with the VR and had the whole had the headset, and they still use the PlayStation Move nunchuck thingies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that would be sweet if Kinect came out with the headgear.
Exactly.
Or even Nintendo, because Nintendo had it back when we were younger. When they had the first VR. When we were real young, and you put it on your face and like you play. I think it was like Duck Hunter or some shit.
Oh no!
Or some sort of shooting game.
Yeah, no, I know it. It was like a 3D thing, and
it was like red inside.
Yeah, it was red,
I
yep.
had one. That thing gave me headaches.
Yeah, but if Nintendo brought that back out, and that would be like the next new gen right there. Everybody, invest in the, Oculus type headset and have it to where like it has the headset kind of in the ears, so like it's a surround sound, and if they did bring up more of the sensory to it, so like we all can like stand with each other and stuff, that would be dope as fuck.
It would be. I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be dope, but I'm a type of person. I love like couch stuff. Like I'm an old '90s kid, so I love like me and my brother played No Way Out, which was announced last year. Some not too long ago, and we enjoyed it. We sat next to each other and we played the game. It was great. And that's the type of stuff I miss. Like I love all this online stuff I do, and because I have friends all over the country, so it's great that they're I'm able to play with them. But at the same time, it's kind of like there's so many single player games now, or you really don't get that experience that much.
I was genuinely pissed when they took away the multiplayer aspect from, I believe it was Call of Duty, because like back in my old relationships, like I have like 4 or 5 people at the house, and we'll all sit around and we'll play Call of Duty.
Yep.
But then I think when Black Ops 3 came out, I think that's when they took it away, and it was just online.
Yeah.
I was mistaking you. So you're like online. I'm like, that's the primary component of Call of Duty, but couch co-op especially.
Yeah, like split screen.
Yeah, split screen.
Yeah.
Like they need to bring that back.
And bring back that old GoldenEye days.
Man.
It's not hard to implement. It's just like it's an extra thing that they just don't choose to do because they think their demographic is primarily online based. Like they want to just like scream at like complete strangers.
Yeah.
Call of Duty's multiplayer has never hit the mark for me.
Yeah,
Never.
Same.
Really?
Even though they've done different things, they've just never ever gotten to where I wanted it, not in one game.
Yeah.
Like the closest was Modern Warfare 3. And granted, I've not played a lot of the recent ones. Modern Warfare 3, you could actually play online split screen. But only one of your screens was actually like the account information that it would remember, getting the experience and shit like that, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The other one was just a guest.
Yeah, it's like a Tails.
Now, and what about split screen? Because they do 2-player split screen, but not like multiplayer through like 3 or 4. They cut that out.
Right.
And I mean, like the monitors that we have nowadays, the widescreen, it's perfectly
Right.
approachable to that type of thing. And
Yeah, because you take like a widescreen like the one I have just off camera.
Oh, yeah.
And that's almost like 2 of the old TVs that we grew up with, where it's just a square TV.
Yeah, literally.
I mean, that's how wide it is.
Yeah.
To Brent's point.
Like I remember playing video games when I was little, playing split screen, especially like GoldenEye,
Oh,
and we
yeah.
used to put cardboard on the screen.
Someone be
I saw
cheating.
that online,
Yep.
by
Yep.
the way.
Like, hey, look at your side of the screen.
Yeah.
Don't-
I
I hate that
I
shit.
would just put like a throw or something on just so nobody could actually see what my movements were, especially with like fighting games when you're clicking the
Oh,
I'm
see,
sure
fighting
so
games are
much.
different though. It's a little easier when somebody's hiding behind a wall. You go,
Yeah. it's
oh
creepy.
no, I
see where
you.
you're coming.
I
Yeah.
recognize that corner of the map.
Did you look at my screen? I ain't look. How you know I was there?
I know where that Jeep is.
I know, right? You always go there. No, I don't.
And I think that's probably an upside to having it multiplayer. Is the fact that people can't screen peek anymore. But remember when they came out with PlayStation TV, where they had it where PlayStation had a Pacific TV, and I believe they had glasses for each person.
Yep.
So like
That was
they
cool.
can put on the
Yeah,
glasses,
that
and
was
they can,
cool.
and they have their own.
It was
screen.
only like a 20-inch, but man,
That
I
was
wanted
cool.
it.
That was dope.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
You didn't. I mean, because they came out with like a racing game that came out with it, and it was so dope.
Well,
Yeah.
even
It was so dope.
like one of the few things that the Wii U actually did right was like for their version of Black Ops 2, one person could actually use the tablet controller and the other one could actually
Yeah,
use the
that
TV.
was cool too.
That was cool.
You know, one thing I was hoping that would have stayed is I remember when the Xbox One first came out a few years ago, and they had the smart glass. I enjoyed it. Like when I played Dead Rising 3, if you use the smart glass system, it allowed you to like get calls and different information that wasn't actually on the screen.
Yeah, for the like you could have like the map and everything separate.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty.
Where
slick.
did that go?
I don't know. I remember Titanfall was like the last game to do it, and then that was it.
Don't they got that to where you can have it on your phone if you have like the game app?
Well, I mean, I don't know how many games do it anymore. I just know that was like big for like 2000.
Metal Gear 5
13,
and
14?
Assassin's Creed 4 were the only ones that I actually had that did it.
Yeah, but you don't see it anymore. I
Yeah.
guess because other people don't use it.
I
but-
guess I'm not familiar with that, but that just reminded me of how like Infamous Second Son, they had it where like on the play, like you could actually swipe on this part of the controller,
Yeah.
and it would do things. And I haven't seen any game utilize that in a long
That's-
time.
Yeah,
That's-
games haven't been that I've noticed.
They haven't utilized the features.
That's
Yeah.
the hallmark of a Sony controller. They put any kind of tech that they want into it to make it seem different from like the last one.
They don't use
At
it.
the same time, the only ones that use it are the first party ones.
Let's
Yeah.
do this thing that nobody's asked for.
Like throw a grenade,
right?
throw a grenade in Uncharted and everything with like 6-axis on PS3.
Flick it.
Yeah.
well, and the PlayStation 3 or 4 controllers have a speaker in them.
Yep.
And not very many games actually utilize that either.
Dying Light was the
Yeah.
only one that I knew of.
And they don't. I remember when it first came out. You can use a controller like as a steering wheel from some of the racing games.
Yeah.
And you can't. And none of the new racing games have that.
Yeah.
It's
Now-
it's too imprecise.
Yeah. That's exactly why. And I mean, the only people who got it mostly right is Nintendo. Mm-hmm. You know, but that's
That's
what the
kind of been their
market
whole
is.
shtick, though.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. I know. Now, me personally, I think I've always liked Xbox more. It's not really the games that really captivate me.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's honestly the controller.
A lot of people say that. A lot of Xbox users can't
Yeah.
use PlayStation controllers.
I cannot.
Well,
I'm that same way.
Xbox
I'm
and Nintendo do
PlayStation.
the A, B, X, Y, and then PlayStation is just like, fuck that.
Yeah,
man.
when
X
it's
square
when it's
circles.
flipped like that,
Let's
it
do
just
shapes.
messes with you.
Yeah.
But,
I think it's just the feel of it is it just feels horrible.
I can tell you the exact moment that I became a PlayStation as opposed to Xbox player.
So
When Metal Gear Solid 4 came out, there was Halo on Xbox and there was Metal Gear on PlayStation, and I cared way more about Metal Gear.
I mean, yeah,
But
I
see,
mean, I can understand
now,
that.
granted, as soon as Knights of the Old Republic came out, Star Wars, I bought an Xbox literally just for that game.
But at the same
Worth
time,
it.
PlayStation, Xbox didn't come out until what? After PlayStation 2? Or around the same time PlayStation
about
2?
It was
Same
right
time.
around the same time,
2001.
but I do think it was a little after.
Yeah,
Right.
after.
So
it
what
was
I'm saying is
2001
that PlayStation had or already had momentum going before Xbox. Like me,
Oh, yeah.
I started on PlayStation 1. You know what I'm saying? So when Xbox came out, it just I didn't jump on that train. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
I
The
can
funny
understand
thing
that.
though is when Xbox came out, like I remember having, and I was a teenager, but I remember having two thoughts. I remember thinking like, okay, is this actually gonna last? Because like I was thinking about Sega Dreamcast and how that bombed. But then I also had the thought of like, how is this gonna change the games that I play on PlayStation?
See, and I think back in the day, the only game that really interested me for Xbox was Halo.
Agreed.
That was the only thing.
I know, I mean-
Until Star Wars came out, I agree.
Yeah, I can understand. But I mean, think about it. They also had what's that? Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden was on.
But then that came.
Xbox.
But then that came to PlayStation.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I thought so.
And then Gears of War was always dope.
Yeah,
know,
but Gears
but
of War
like-
didn't come out on 360 though.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying that those are the only two games that for a long time they interested me for Xbox.
Hey, but Halo was dope.
Halo
So-
was though, you know, and today I have an Xbox now, even though I don't even play it. But you know, I have, you know, a bunch of Halos, and I have 2 Halos, and I have almost all of the Gears of War except for the newest one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but there's just nothing that interests me.
I know this is way back, but I just remembered a game that came out on actually GameCube exclusive that like to me was definitely not their usual. Star Wars was it like Rogue Squadron or whatever?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got all of them.
That's interested in Star Wars.
So because that was
Bryce loves Star Wars.
oh big shocker. But sorry, that was random. I just thought about that because they were the only ones who actually ever did a Star Wars flying game. Flying game.
We
that
so
good.
got away from E3.
Yeah, we did. So we need to go back to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, what? Okay, first let's start. What game are you happy to continue, or what series, or what game are you most anticipating?
Specific from this E3.
Yeah, from this one.
Oh man.
Oh man.
It can we start with someone else? Come back to me because it's
All
a
right,
tie
Brett.
for me.
All right,
Okay.
Brett, go ahead. Bro, you got to push.
Yeah.
Smash Brothers.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
It just didn't seem like there was enough to really go around. Like all the surprises, like Final Fantasy IV remake, the Avengers game that just has almost dematerialized at this point. You know, it just the trade show, E3 specifically, seems like it's gotten away from like just major announcements and it's just become like kind of a regular trade show.
Yeah.
This year specifically, at least for me, felt like that's where it is right
Well,
now.
that was like Ubisoft announced Odyssey a week before E3.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an announcement; it was known at that point.
and then and a lot of people are up in arms about Square Enix's turnout and everything just being purely about just like, okay, we're gonna release Kingdom Hearts at the beginning of next year, and that's it.
God damn.
You know what's funny though? I just got
Next
Game
year.
Informer.
Nothing.
I just got Game Informer, and Game Informer says 2018.
That's funny.
Really?
Yeah, I bet they're upset.
They're taking.
It's
too
already been
long.
out then.
They're taking
Well,
way
that's
too
my
long.
point. That's my problem with Square Enix. Before I forget, because I did think of my answer, because you would expect me to say either Kingdom Hearts, even though I am mad at Square Enix, or Assassin's Creed. Even though I will say, I'm just gonna bitch real quick. How the fuck do you have Assassin's Creed Origins and then make a game that about assassins before the assassins were created?
I know.
But anyways,
Yo,
but no.
One thing about what I wanted to say about Assassin's Creed. Why I don't know. Why the fuck haven't they brought in Japanese or Chinese culture?
It's coming.
That's what we were talking
They
about.
have in
before
the
we started.
minor ones, but
Yeah.
not a major one. But they need to bring it into a major one, especially Japanese.
With assassins, that's what I think about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ninjutsu, you know, ninjas.
Play the
Yeah.
side scrolling China
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
You know that'd be
one's
dope
fun.
as fuck.
Chronicles.
But go ahead.
Yeah,
What was you saying?
But no, Last of Us 2. And the reason why
Okay.
is because they have everything to lose.
Yeah.
Because when you start out with the first game being fucking game
Year.
release of the console, not
Yeah.
of the year,
Yeah,
to do a sequel, you can only go down from there.
Yeah.
That's true.
that's
And,
true.
and I'm afraid that no matter how good the game no matter how good I think the game is, everybody's gonna be like, oh, it's not as good as the first one.
What is with in the first trailer? What is with Joel showing up at like the last second of the first trailer,
I haven't
or
beat
of
the
part
game yet,
of
I
part
don't know.
two?
Oh, were you talking about the one where she's in the room?
Yeah,
playing guitar?
where she's singing and then it ends.
That,
and then
well,
she's
that's
like,
the thing.
What do you...
They have. That's the only thing we know about Joel. We don't know, and we don't know if it's him or if it's a ghost.
Yeah, or if it's a figment, or if she's
Yeah.
like just kind of filling, like a void of.
That's the
him
thing.
Not
They're
being
they're
there.
not. They're giving you these teasers, but they tell you nothing about the story.
Yeah.
Except that except you're playing as Ellie.
And it's one of those things like Death Stranding where they're announcing it like way too
Don't even get me
fucking
started
early,
on Kojima.
Way too fucking early.
Kojima.
And I mean, like the trailers that he's putting out, I'm intrigued by it. But at this point in the game, really show me something rather than
It's a
just him,
clusterfuck of shit.
just him fucking like walking through like a field of like oil and dead sea creatures.
Yeah.
At this point, show me something.
Okay,
You know,
my turn.
Hold on, before you go, real quick, before you go,
Okay.
I wanted to ask because he clarified why he wanted Last of Us 2. I didn't really know why you wanted Smash Brothers
It's
because it kind of went into Square
easy
Enix.
choice. I don't know. It was like the only one with the Ridley reveal, and like they're refining a bunch of stuff to actually be a little bit more hardcore at this point. I mean,
Okay.
it just seems like it was like the only game that really stood a chance to really stand out to me.
Okay.
I understand that franchises reach a pinnacle like we've been talking about, jumping in and out of between stories. That was the only one that really mattered to me because they had already amped it up. The Assassin's Creed thing is a given; it's an annual release.
Right.
Everything else that falls, into that
Gotcha.
into that mold. You know what I mean? So and it's simple. And Nintendo games in general, even though they do the same thing from generation to generation, they tend to stick the landing. Even though they're the same thing each time. They change it up enough.
Yeah.
For me at least.
Gotcha.
It's not everybody's cup of tea, but
It's familiar, but it changed enough changes to be interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, the hype is real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So me, I have more than just one. Okay. So we're gonna be here for a second. Okay. First off, even though they announced it before E3, Tomb Raider, Shadows of the Raider.
Yes.
I'm super fucking excited. I love.
Thank God they're not doing like they did with the last one, where it's Xbox exclusive first.
Yes.
As
Oh,
far
I
as-
would hate that. I would be so fucking pissed.
Because I had to wait to
I
play
wouldn't
it.
have cared.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't have cared.
No,
Fuck
actually,
you.
I have an Xbox, so I would have bought it anyway. But yeah, Tomb Raider, Anthem, which was
Yes.
was announced before E3 too.
Yes.
But I've been waiting for Anthem for a long time. Anthem looks really, really, really fucking dope. I was happy to see the gameplay of it. And they really explain a lot more about the javelins in the backstory of it. The something of Tashishimi.
Oh,
Was that the one that you shared
Is
with
that
us?
the
no, that
From
was the one
Software
he
guys?
shared. But the
Oh,
one
he
time,
shared it.
yeah, about the feudal Japan guy.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
samurai kind of game.
That
guy.
did
Yeah,
look kind of
yeah,
cool.
That one
It did.
looks dope as fuck.
It does.
Is that the Dark Souls guys?
I don't know. Actually,
know.
I don't
Yeah, I don't
know.
know either.
But I know when they did the presentation, they had the guy with the old. I hate to say flute, but I really don't know what the instrument was.
Is it
Yeah.
Ocarina?
No, it wasn't an ocarina. It wasn't an
don't know.
ocarina.
It's a flute.
Yeah, I
It's
didn't
a
see it.
flute.
Yeah, you like the long one.
All
Yeah,
I
yeah.
knew is that they had a banjo for Last of Us 2.
The didgeridoo.
Okay, so anyways, what other games?
Pan flute.
I said at the beginning of the show, I was really upset they didn't say nothing about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really upset about that. There's one more, but Jared, go ahead, go, and I'll come back to it.
Okay. Well, like I have started it, big into Ubisoft, so because I'm kind of leaning more from like I like being online, but like with Anthem, I enjoy what they're bringing to the table, but I'm afraid of getting into Anthem because I feel like you need a team for that. Even though it's going to be like a single and multiplayer type experience at the same time.
Well, it's BioWare's answer to Destiny.
Well, no, I get that,
okay.
but like even the reason why I didn't get into Destiny, and I played the first one. The reason I didn't play the second one because when I started playing, I remember I used to play with my friend Jedi in California. What's up, Jedi? I know you watched the show. He got very far because he had a little more time than me. He played a little more than I did, and when we got together, it was just so much of a difference in experience. It wasn't fun anymore for me. You know what I'm saying? And then and that's why I kind of like I'm going to so I'm kind of nervous about another game that's in the same realm, which is the Division 2. I enjoyed Division 1, but it's the same thing that happened with the first one. Like
you need a team.
Yeah, because my team that I had a group of 3, but they all kept playing, and I had life, so it just happened.
That's for Destiny was really boring to me for a while until I first got a headset, and 2 I found the community. Once I found a community and people will post like, hey, we need somebody for a raid here or whatever, and you can just message them, and like it opened the game up because now I can finally jump in and play the game with people.
Yep.
Because if you didn't play it with people, the game got boring real fast.
really quick.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I've been learning lately with stuff. So now getting to the point of the game I actually really wanted to see.
And the game I was talking about earlier, the Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah.
One Piece.
Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know you love it. I knew you was gonna say that's what you were waiting for. I just didn't want to ruin it for you because you guys said it earlier. But I'm really, I don't know why I have such love for Honor right now. Like I don't know if it's just the fun of like being attacked and then fighting off 4 people at the same time, or just getting attacked by 4 people and catching one and killing one, and even though the other 3 kill you, it's still just fun. Just being able to, because like it's so many games where you have to shoot somebody, shoot somebody, or if it's a fighting game, it's 1-on-1. This one is like you just like, what's up, motherfucker? And you just like jump up on him, you just kill him, like slice his head off. And then like his boy is standing there and he's like, what's up? He's like, come on, bitch, like let's bring it.
Wait,
And that's
pause. They're coming out with a new one?
No. They're coming on with like, so with For Honor, and one thing I like about For Honor is what you're doing is they're not just coming out with another game like Destiny. You know, they had so many mixed reviews with the first one. They were just like, we're just going to do another one. Like For Honor, we're like, no, we're just going to patch this one. Instead of you spending more money, you know, you might have to buy like a season pass or something, but we're just going to keep adding on, patching it, making it better, a better experience. And that's what I enjoy. So now, just like with all these new experiences and stuff, like I'm really excited to get a community going. Like you were saying before, you had to find a group. You know, I've been online. I found these groups now, and now when they're on, you know, people now are like, at least for the For Honor community, they're like, some of them are douches. Like I've killed people and they go, "What's up, pussy?" You know, stuff like that. You know, they don't like. It's always funny when people message me during the game. It's like you're really going out your way to message me. Like, you know, if I see your character standing there because it's online, you can't pause online. I'm going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? I give you a little taunt just to see what's going on. But if you don't talk back, I give you 3 seconds. Then I got to run up on you. It's just the way it works. But it's one of those things like now with the For Honor community, I come across a lot of people and they're just like, yo, you're pretty good. And I'm like, yeah, you're not bad. I can understand you're just starting, but hey, just roll with me, stick with me, I got you. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like in the same realm as like an MMO. You know, you find a community and then it becomes that much better. I was almost thinking too, they did the same thing with Rainbow Six Siege.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
they're just patching it and they're doing like seasonal updates and everything, having people pay for it that way. It's just like a pay to play service.
Yeah, and
it's nice.
And that's, you know, and a lot of times I always said that's what they should do about sports games. Like I was really big into 2K like a while back. And I started getting off of it because I was like, I'm tired of buying a new one every year with like very minimum changes. Like why don't you just update it? Like, hey, here's a pay $20 to update it.
Yeah.
And boom, you know, rather than another $60.
They were almost playing around with that back in the PS1 era. There used to be like this thing called the Dex drive that you could hook up to your computer and you could download like saves, stats, players, you know, like everything would be like readjusted.
Yeah.
This was like PS1 era.
See, they
and it
should.
just never
I always
took
wanted
off.
them to do that with games that have a video game sequel, where like
Yeah.
if you're playing the same character in the second video game, like you can like import your
They
level,
should
your
do that.
experience from the first one.
Some games do that, but I
that
can't
would've
think
been
of
dope.
any off the top of my head right now. But they do that.
I mean, Assassin's Creed 2, what they did is they kept you with the skill set you had at the end of one, and then you would get new skills.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Right. I got another thing, but I'll bring it up on the next episode.
Okay.
Okay. So any final words for this one?
Yeah. See me online in For Honor. Holla at me.
I might
Tater
actually
B
get
is
that.
my gamer tag. Holla at me.
And the developer, if you want to throw some money for him shouting you out, you know.
I'm serious. Holla at me.
Dude, if somehow we could get some sponsors and like we can like do that,
Talk about it.
like
Dude,
we'll talk about games a lot more. Like
no shit.
We are huge.
We could
geeks,
easily do that.
you know, and we can easily talk more about games.
I would talk about
know.
Arm and Bacon Soda if you sponsor us.
Well,
That too.
the
be an
geeky
idea.
stuff. I mean, our backdrop is a surefire evidence that
Right, we have
I'm a
it
geek.
right there.
What?
You know,
But
we can really get into that.
But I just wanted to throw out, you know, kind of the same as always. I mean, if you have any thoughts about games that we brought up, games that we didn't bring up, developers we brought up, so on and so forth, hit us up because we can always revisit this topic easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tim, you know I'm going to bring you back on for this shit.
Yeah, Tim, Brother Blood, you got to come back on. We can indulge on this. But any last words from Brent?
No.
No. Okay.
He's like Smash Bros.
Can I say something? 'Cause I know you always ended it. I know you always. I just want to say something real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I ain't got nothing to say.
Did you do that on purpose?
No, I did.
He
I
did
totally
that.
forgot it.
He did
I
that.
totally forgot it. No, I was gonna say. I mean, no, I really ain't got anything. Go ahead,
Josh.
Anyways, just to reiterate what I had said at the beginning of the show. If you listen to this podcast, if you got this far, just share us. We need you. Please help us out.
We love you.
And we want to thank everybody for supporting us and for just fucking with us. And if you don't fuck with us, oh well, because we still going to take off. I'm Josh B. Easy, and we out.